Why the Detroit Lions will win the Super Bowl in 2019. Make sure to stay tuned to find out why. What's up, everybody? It's JT Sports and back to you guys with another video. I'm continuing my series talking about why all 32 NFL teams will win the Super Bowl this year in 2019. And the team that we're going to be talking about in this video is the Detroit Lions. Now, before I begin, make sure to click that link down in the comment section down below if you want to join my fantasy football league. I only have like 6-7 spots left, and the fantasy draft will begin August 24th. And also make sure to like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. I upload NFL videos and NFL content daily. So the Detroit Lions, I think the Detroit Lions are really being underrated going into the season and 2019. Some people have them going 4-12, 5-11, 6-10. I don't think the Detroit Lions are going to be a bad team at all. And the Detroit Lions can surprise a lot of people and win this division, the NFC North. And looking at what they did in free agency and in the draft, they improved their team by a lot. I actually had them a few months ago as the top 10 most improved team going into the 2019 NFL season, or with the top 10 best off season. They had a good draft, great free agency. So this Detroit Lions team is really improved. And the first thing we gotta talk about is Matthew Stafford. My guy Luke G, if you're watching this video, Luke G, man, this guy and me had a very good debate this past Sunday about, is Matthew Stafford an elite quarterback, and how Matthew Stafford has been able to hold his own with not having the best talent around him, not really having that good of an offensive line. So now this is the season when we actually get to see how good is Matthew Stafford going to be, and how far can he take this Detroit Lions team now that he has talent around him. When you look at the wide receiver position, you got Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones there. You also got to look at the tight ends. You got TJ Hawkinson, who they drafted in this year's draft. A lot of people are comparing him to Rock Gronkowski. I don't think he's going to be Rock Gronkowski, but I think he's going to be a pretty good tight end for the Detroit Lions. You also got Jesse James. And Jesse James, as a Steelers fan, I was really sad to see him go. He was a very solid part of our offense, very reliable on third down as well. So with the Detroit Lions, we're getting a very reliable tight end on third down, a safety blanket for Matthew Stafford as well. So it's going to be interesting seeing how they end up using these two tight ends and how good these two tight ends are going to be. I think they're going to be very good. And then halfback Kerryon Johnson. Kerryon Johnson, I think he's going to be a big part of why this Detroit Lions team can end up winning the Super Bowl in 2019. We already saw a little bit of a sneak peek of what he was able to do in 2018 before he got injured. He was the Detroit Lions' first 100-yard rusher since God knows when. They struggled to find a consistent running game, and now they have a good halfback, and they should have a pretty good rushing attack in 2019 with a guy like Kerryon Johnson. And Kerryon Johnson also isn't just good in the running game. He's also a very good receiver as well. He can also catch passes out of the backfield. So he's a halfback who can end up doing a lot. I think he's going to be in for a very big season. He should be able to make the Pro Bowl as well. So I think Kerryon Johnson is going to be a Pro Bowler this year. And then the offensive line. The offensive line, for the most part, I think this offensive line should be pretty solid. They got guys like Taylor Decker, you got Frank Ragnow there, you got Kenny Wiggins, you got Ricky Wagner there. I don't really know who's going to be starting at that center position, but whoever ends up starting at that center position, they have to be really good, because when you look at the best offensive lines in the NFL, like the Philadelphia Eagles, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the LA Chargers, even the Dallas Cowboys, they all have some of the best centers in the NFL. So if the Detroit Lions want to make it to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl, they have to have a very good offensive line, and it all starts at that center position. That center position is going to be a key factor in determining how good that offensive line is. And like I said earlier, the best offensive lines in the NFL have some of the best centers in the NFL. Like the LA Chargers have Pouncey, the Pittsburgh Steelers have the other Pouncey twin, the Philadelphia Eagles have Jason Kelce, the Dallas Cowboys have Travis Frederick there. So the best offensive lines in the NFL normally end up having the best center. So whoever ends up starting at that center position for the Detroit Lions in 2019 is going to play a big part of how good that offensive line is going to be. And I think that offensive line should be very solid for the Detroit Lions, and that's another reason why I think they can end up winning the Super Bowl as well. But a big reason why I think this Detroit Lions team can win the Super Bowl is their defensive line. Their defensive line is downright scary. We got to talk about how they signed Trey Flowers in free agency. He was the best pass rusher on that New England Patriots team. He now links up with Matt Patricia there. Then they also have Mike Daniels, who they recently signed a couple of days ago. The Green Bay Packers shockingly released him. He's a very good pass rusher as well. He can also stop the run as well. Mike Daniels, he's up there. He's 30 years old, but he still has a lot left in the tank. He's going to be very good getting after the passer in this NFC North division. And I think he's going to be in for a lot of success on this defensive line for the Detroit Lions, because the offensive lines in this division are a little bit questionable. You got to look at the Minnesota Vikings. This was a team last season who had a very terrible offensive line situation, and their offensive line is still in a little bit of a reshape mode. So I think the Detroit Lions could end up beating up on the Minnesota Vikings up front. Then the Green Bay Packers, their offensive line is a little bit in question as well. So they can end up beating up on some of these teams in the NFC North up front because of how weak the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers offensive line is. The Minnesota Vikings, I don't think their offensive line is going to be that much improved than Green Bay. Their offensive line is a little bit of a question. So it's going to be interesting seeing that how this Detroit Lions front seven is going to end up to cause havoc on some of the offensive lines in the NFL and in this division. I think they could end up having one of the best front sevens in all of football by the end of the 2019 NFL season. When it's all said and done, the Detroit Lions can end up having a top 3, top 5 defensive line in all of football. Because this defensive line is just downright scary. You got Damian Snacks Harrison. When Snacks Harrison got traded to the Detroit Lions, he immediately made this Detroit Lions, when it came to stopping the run, immediately better. I think they went from I forgot where they were, but I think when Snacks Harrison got to Detroit, they became like a top 15 team when it came to stopping the run there. So he has a big impact on this Detroit Lions team when it comes to stopping the run there. Then you have a guy like PJ Johnson. He's a backup, but he's a guy out of Arizona. He's very big in frame. He's also a guy who can clog up those running lanes just because of how big he is in size. Then you got guys like Deshaun Hand, who is pretty solid. Then you got rookie Austin Bryant. It's going to be interesting seeing how they use Austin Bryant. A lot of people have been saying that he can also play linebacker as well. He can play a lot of different things on the Detroit Lions defense. So I think he's going to be another big piece of this Detroit Lions defense and a big reason why they could end up winning the Super Bowl this year. Then at the middle linebacker position, you got Gerard Davis. You also have my guy Jahlani Tavai. He's a rookie out of Hawaii. I think he could end up being the next Darius Leonard because a lot of people didn't really know who this guy was. A lot of people were bashing the pick. If you watch this guy for Hawaii, this guy was basically a whole entire defense for that Hawaii team. This guy was running around the field making tackles. This guy, Tavai, I think he could end up being a very big part of this Detroit Lions defense if they find a way to get him involved. And I do believe that they will, because I think he's just too talented of a player that you cannot have him get involved on this defense some way, somehow. Versus if it's like a special package or something, I think they're going to find a way to get this guy on the field because this guy is absolutely sensational. Go watch this guy's highlights if you haven't. This guy just flies around the field. He was basically that whole entire defense for Hawaii, and I'm not exaggerating when I'm saying that. He literally was their entire defense. And then when we look at the secondary, you got Darius Slade, you got Justin Coleman, who was graded by Pro Football Focus as the best slot cornerback in all of football in 2018. He comes from Seattle. Seattle on this Detroit Lions team. It's going to be very interesting seeing how he meshes with that Matt Patricia defense, because most slot cornerbacks in the NFL, when they get signed by teams in free agency, they normally end up becoming an outside cornerback, and they normally end up struggling. But Justin Coleman with Seattle, he played a little bit of both. He played slot cornerback, and he played a little bit of outside cornerback as well. So he's going to be another good big addition to this Detroit Lions defense. And then Teez Tabor. Teez Tabor is a guy who a lot of people are really excited about. He had a little bit of an up and down season last year for the Detroit Lions, but I think this season, this is the season that he can end up putting it all together, and he can end up being a very good second cornerback on the other side of Darius Slay. So this Detroit Lions team can most definitely win the Super Bowl in 2019. A lot of people are sleeping on this Detroit Lions team. This Detroit Lions team is really underrated, and they can legitimately win the Super Bowl in 2019. And these are my reasons why I think the Detroit Lions will win the Super Bowl in 2019. So this is it. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and content. And also make sure to check out these other videos as well. And thanks for watching.